conflict and beautiful coastal scene study. Under that lighter appearance, however, it tells a deeper story about memory, social class, personal change, forgiveness, and the danger of judging someone before understanding them. The series is produced by AMP and stars Alpiran Diamonds as Yaman and Ozzy Giagis as Doga. Its central story follows two strong personalities who meet again years after a cruel incident changed Yaman's life. The official story represents Yaman as idealistic engineer and Doga as privileged daughter of a powerful businessman. Their second meeting takes them away from the polished world of company offices and places them on a farm where their usual rules no longer work. Excusing the latest development, it is important to understand the movement that created the conflict between them. Years earlier, Yaman is not the confident and commanding man viewers now is in the present. He is the nervous young engineer carrying hope, ambition, and the pressure of proving himself. He believes that one important job interview can change his future. For him, the opportunity is not simply about earning money. It represents respect, independence, and the chance to build a life through his own ability. He prepares for that day, believing that knowledge, hard work, and honesty will be enough. Unfortunately, life does not allow him to arrive in the perfect condition he imagined. A series of problems leaves him looking tired, messy, and far from professional by the time he reaches directly holding. His appearance tells the wrong story. He does not look like a promising engineer. He looks like someone who does not belong inside that expensive building. The people around him do not ask what happened. They do not consider that his condition may have a reasonable explanation. They see the surface and quickly decide what kind of person he must be. Doka and her close friend Vida are part of that painful experience. At this stage of her life, Doga is protected by wealthy family power and comfort. She is used to moving through spaces where her sure name opens door before she even asks. She does not understand how much one opportunity can mean to someone like Yaman. To her, the interview is another event taking place inside her father's company. To Yaman, it may decide the direction of his entire future. That difference in perspective is one of the most important ideas in the series. Doga and Veera judge Yaman by his appearance and uncertain behavior. Their comments are careless, but the effect on Yaman is serious. He not only loses the opportunity, he also hears himself being treated like a joke. A rejection can be painful, but humiliation is different. Rejection says that a person was not chosen. Humiliation makes that person feel small, foolish, and unworthy of being seen. Yaman leaves the building carrying more than disappointment. He carries a memory that will shape the man he later becomes. The scene is important because Doga does not fully understand what she has done. She continues with her life while Yaman is forced to rebuild his. This does not excuse her behavior, but it explains why the two characters remembered the same day in different ways. For Yaman, it is a turning point. For Doga, it is one careless event among many. Pain often works like this. The person who caused it may forget the moment, while the person who received it remember every detail. 5 years pass and Yaman transforms himself. He is no longer the shy young man who struggles to speak inside the holiday company. He becomes strong, skilled, disciplined, and difficult to intimidate. His confidence is not borrowed from family money or social position. It is built through experience. Every challenge teaches him to depend on himself, and every success becomes proof that the people who mocked him were wrong. His transformation is satisfying because he does not simply change his clothes or improve his appearance. He develops a new way of carrying himself. Yet strength does not erase the old wound. In some ways, Yaman's success protects that wound instead of healing it. He has learned how to prevent people from making him feel powerless again. He can now answer arrogance with sharp words. He can control a room without raising his voice. He understands work, land, responsibility, and human behavior. But when he sees Toga again, the past returns immediately. The confident man is still connected to the humiliated young engineer he once was. Doga, meanwhile, has not experienced the same kind of growth. She remains lively, intelligent, bold, and socially confident, but she has also become careless with responsibility. She begins projects without completing them. She treats serious work as something that can be delayed. Her father, Hulsi, has spent years protecting her before from the result of her decision because she rarely faces lasting consequences. She does not understand why other people become frustrated with her. This does not mean Doga is empty or cruel. She has warmth, courage, creativity, and a strong emotional side. The problem is that these qualities are hidden beneath comfort and impatience. She has never been forced to discover what she can do. When life becomes difficult, her father sees her wasted potential and becomes increasingly disappointed. He loves his daughter, but he also knows that love without limits can stop a person from growing. When Doga and Veera meet Yaman again, they do not immediately recognize the connection between this powerful man and the nervous interview candidate from 5 years earlier. Yaman now looks like someone they could notice. He is calm, attractive, and sure of himself. Doga feels an immediate pull toward him because she is meeting the result of a journey she knows nothing about. She sees his strength but not the pain that created it. For a short moment, their reunion seems like the beginning of a normal attraction. There is curiosity between them and an energy neither can completely hide. Then Yaman remembers exactly who she is. The warmth disappears from his behavior, his face and voice become colder because he is no longer looking only at the woman standing before him. He is also seeing the girl who loved one of the worst moments of his life. Doga cannot understand the sudden change from her point of view. Yaman becomes rude without a clear reason. She is not to being dismissed, especially by someone who disappeared interested only moments earlier. His rejection challenges both her pride and her curiosity. Instead of walking away, she becomes more interested in reversing why he treats her differently from everyone else. This is where the series begins to reverse the balance of power. In the past, Doga stood inside her father's company while Yaman needed approval. In the present circumstances and Doga into Yaman's world, Hulsi finally decides that his daughter must face responsibility. He sends her to the family new farm investment, believing that real work may teach her lessons the company office has failed to provide. For Doga, the farm feels like a punishment. She is separated from her comfortable routine, her social world, and the environment where she knows how to use her influence. The farm does not care about her sure name. Crops need attention whether she is tired or not. Animals do not respond to fashionable ideas. Workers cannot build a future around unfinished plans. Nature does not change its result because someone is rich, bored, or impatient. Yaman understands this environment because he respects its demands. His authority comes from knowledge and effort. He knows that the farm survives through planning, patience, and cooperation. He also understands that one careless decision can affect many families. Doga enters this world believing that confidence can replace experience. Yaman sees her arrival as both a threat and an opportunity. At the first, his goal is not to help Doga. He wants her to experience the frustration, pressure, and helplessness he once felt. The situation gives him something he has imagined for years: control over the person who once made him feel powerless. Every difficult task he gave her carries a hidden message. He wants her to understand that being judged, ordered around, and placed outside one's comfort zone is not easy. However, revenge becomes complicated when the target is no longer a distant memory. Yaman has spent years thinking of Doga as the cruel girl from the interview. At the farm, he begins to see other parts of her character. She is stubborn, but she is not weak. She complains, yet she does not always run away. She makes mistakes, but she also searches for solution. She can be selfish in one moment and surprisingly generous in the next. Doga also begins to see beyond Yaman's hard behavior. He may speak sharply, but his action often protect other people. He understands the worker and cares about the farm's future. He does not respect power simply simply because it comes with money. He values ability, loyalty, and honesty. These qualities attract Doga even when she is angry with him. Their arguments become the main language of their relationship. They challenge each other over work, authority, class, and personal boundaries. Sometimes their battles are serious. At other times, the conflict becomes funny because both are too proud to admit that they enjoy the attention. Every disagreement allows them to study one another more closely. They learn what creates anger, what causes fear, and what neither person is ready to say openly. Doga's method belongs to the business world. She thinks in terms of promotion, image, customers, and quick results. Yaman's methods are connected to the land. He believes that growth takes time and that local people must be respected. Neither approach is completely useless. Doga can imagine possibilities that others do not see, while Yaman can identify the practical problems she ignores. Their greatest strength may eventually come from combining their abilities, but pride keeps them from realizing this early. The farm is more than a location, it acts like another character in the story. It removes false appearances and forces people to reveal who they are. In the city, Doga can escape behind meetings, money, clothes, and family influence. At the farm, she must deal with real consequences. Yaman can hide behind professional authority, but the closeness of farm life makes it harder for him to hide his emotional reaction. The natural environment also matches the title of the series. Human beings create complicated social rules, but nature follows a simpler system. Action produces result, neglected work fails, patience allows growth, storms cannot be ordered to stop, feelings cannot be controlled forever. The story suggests that love follows a similar law. Yaman and Doga can argue, resist, and create excuses, but the emotional connection continues to grow. Yaman's revenge begins losing its clear shape because he is attracted to the woman he wants to punish. This creates a conflict inside him. Part of him wants Doga to suffer enough to understand his past, another part wants to protect her from pain. He becomes angry when she acts carelessly, but he becomes even more disturbed when someone else threatens her. His action reveals concern before his words are ready to admit it. Doga experiences a different struggle. She is used to people waiting her approval. Yaman refuses to give her easy admiration. He notices her beauty, but he is not controlled by it. He sees her family name, but he does not become obedient. He challenges her choices and forces her to defend her ideas. This makes him frustrating, but it also makes him impossible for her to ignore. One reason their chemistry works in that either character completely defeats the other. Yaman often wins practical arguments because he understands the farm. Doga can still surprise him with courage, creativity, and emotional intelligence. Their power changes from scene to scene. These keep the relationship active and prevent either person from becoming only a victim or only a hero. Doga's development is especially important at the beginning. It would be easy to reduce her to spoiled rich woman. The series slowly shows that irresponsibility is not her entire personality. She has spent much of her life without a meaningful direction. Other people decide what she should do, then criticize her when she does not become serious. The farm gives her a chance to create an identity outside her father's company. Her early ideas do not always succeed. She wants fast progress and public attention, but she does not fully study the local reality. One major example is her attempt to use the barrage area to increase the farm income. From a business point of view, the idea seems attractive. A popular beach could bring visitors, money, and attention. Yaman objects because he sees the cost as a sharp public space rather than a product that should be controlled for profit. Doga believes Yaman is resisting her because he enjoys opposing everything she suggests. She pushes forward, confident that success will prove him wrong. Instead, the local community rejects the project and the plan collapses. The failure embraces her, but it also teaches an important lesson. A good idea cannot be separated from the people who will live with its result. Development without respect can quickly become exploitation. Yaman is proven right, but the victory does not make everything easier between them. His correctness strengthens his position, while Doga feels that she is again being treated like someone incapable capable of serious work. Her pride pushes her toward another struggle. By this stage, however, the conflict is no longer purely professional. Their feelings are beginning to influence every decision. Doga eventually learned why Yaman has carried so much anger toward her. Discovering the truth forces her to look at her younger self honestly. She may not have planned to destroy his confidence, but intention does not remove responsibility. Her careless words became part of another person's pain. This realization gives Doga a chance to grow in a way that money could never teach her. She first tries to respond with understanding. She becomes softer because she recognized that Yaman's behavior did not appear without reason. Yet Yaman is not ready to accept a simple change in attitude. He has lived with the memory for years. From his perspective, Doga cannot erase it merely by becoming polite. His refusal frustrates her and her guilt begins mixing with danger. Doga then decides to turn the situation around since she has authority in the farm's management. She gives Yaman difficult tasks happening to make him experience the pressure he once placed on her. She wants to show that she is not helpless and that he cannot continue punishing her forever. The plan fails because Yaman completes each challenge successfully. His ability becomes another source of irritation and attraction. This stage of their relationship is important because revenge starts moving in both directions. Yaman initially wants to punish Doga for the past. Doga later wants to punish Yaman for his present behavior. Neither plan brings satisfaction. Each attempt only keeps them close and create more emotional tension. They begin using work as an excuse to remain inside one another's lives. Jealousy soon becomes impossible to hide. Doga tries to test Yaman by bringing him into a situation involving another woman. She expects him to become uncomfortable or reveal that he is emotionally affected by her. Instead, Yaman remains calm and communicates easily. The plan turns against Doga because she becomes the jealous person. Her reaction exposes feelings she has not admitted even to herself. She tells herself that Yaman is annoying, arrogant, and unsuitable. Yet she watches him carefully when he speaks to someone else. She notices every smile and every moment of comfort. Her jealousy is not based on ownership because they are not officially together. It comes from fear that the connection she feels may not be equally important to him. Yaman notices the change in her behavior. He understands that Doga's anger may be hiding attraction. Instead of making the situation easier, he pushes her to explain herself. Their conservation becomes another battle, but this time the real subject is not the farm. It is desire. Yaman challenges her to admit that she may like him. Doga responds defensively in trying to reject the idea. She uses words connected to the old interview incident. Her reaction shows Yaman that she remembers more than she previously admitted. The past, which has remained like a hidden wall between them, suddenly becomes visible. Both characters now understand they cannot continue building a relationship without facing what happened. This confrontation changes the emotional direction of the story. Yaman has waited for Doga to recognize his pain, but recognition does not bring the peace he expected. Instead, he must decide what he truly wants. Does he want an apology? Does he want her to suffer? Does he want proof that she has changed? Or has revenge simply become a reason to stay connected to her? The answer is not simple because Yaman's anger has become part of his identity. For 5 years, he used the memory as fuel. It helped him become stronger and more determined. Letting go may feel like betraying the younger version of himself. He fears that forgiveness will make the humiliation meaningless, yet holding on to the past, it also preventing him from accepting the happiness developing in the present. Doga faces an equally difficult question. She cannot change what she did, but she can decide who she becomes after understanding it. A weak version of the story would make her apologize once and immediately receive forgiveness. The law of nature allows the damage to remain complicated. Doga must show growth through action, not only words. Yaman must learn that healing cannot depend entirely on another person's punishment. Around this central romance, the family characters create additional pressure. Hulsi is not simply the rich father who sends his daughter away. His choices connect the business world, the farm, and hidden events from the past. He wants Doga to become responsible, but he also carries secrets and old conflicts. As the story moves forward, the consequences of his earlier decision being reaching his family. Hyul's presence is important because both Yaman and Doga are responding to forms of authority. Doga has spent her life under her father's protection and control. Yaman has built himself in opposition to powerful people who judge others from above. The farm may belong to Hulsi business structure, but Yaman's knowledge gives him practical control. This creates a complicated triangle of power. The other family members also have personal interest in the farm. To some, it represents home and tradition. To others, it is an investment that can be sold. For Doga, it begins as punishment but slowly becomes a place of growth. For Yaman, it is work, identity, and responsibility because every person sees the land differently. Financial decisions quickly become emotional conflicts. Nesreen and Safet become especially important as questions about ownership and shares develop. Nesreen understands that control can be gained quietly through family pressure. Safet can be influenced and his choices may affect everyone's future. Merritt also has his own ambitions, making private agreements more dangerous than open arguments. Veera plays a different role. She is connected to Doga's life and was present during the original humiliation. Her friendship proves ideas comfort, but it also reminds viewers of the word Doga came from. Veera knows how Doga behaved before the farm began changing her. Depending on her choices, she can either support Doga's growth or pull her back toward old habits. Other characters add humor, tension, and romance around the main couple. Their smaller stories prevent the series from becoming emotionally narrow. Life at the farm continues even when Yaman and Doga are lost in their personal battle. Workers have concerns, relatives have plans, and friendship develop their own problems. This larger community gives meaning to the farm because it shows exactly who may be harmed by careless decisions. The beauty of the location also creates an interesting contrast. The sea, open land, and warm sunlight make the setting appear peaceful. Yet the people living there carry old bonds, financial fears, jealousy, and hidden plans. The landscape promises freedom while the characters remain trapped by pride and memory. This contrast gives the romantic scenes softness and the dangerous scenes greater impact. By episode 6, the tension between Yaman and Doga has clearly moved beyond dislike. Their fights contain jealousy and emotional testing. The official Star TV recap described Doga's failed beach project, her attempt to challenge Yaman with difficult work, and the jealousy that appears when she sees him becoming friendly with another woman. It also confirms that their confrontation brings the forgotten interview incident back into the open. Developments matter because they remove the excuse that their connection is only professional. Doga cannot explain her jealousy as concern for farm management. Yaman cannot explain his intense intention as simple revenge. Their feelings are now affecting the way they react to everyone around them. Even when they deny love, their behavior tells any other story. Then the series introduces a darker threat. Mysterious visitors arrive and Yaman immediately feels that something is wrong. He instructs tell him not to trust appearances. Doga, still learning the cost of being careless, sees the newcomer differently. She behaves. Yaman is being suspicious and controlling. Their disagreement show that Doga's growth is not complete. She still sometimes confuses confidence with safety. The visitors are connected to Hulse's past. Their arrival suggests that an old debt or betrayal has not been forgotten. Doga becomes part of the danger without understanding the full history. This is a major shift because the series moves from emotional revenge into physical risk. Yaman's old anger toward Doga becomes less important when he realizes someone may truly harm her. The hostage situation forces both characters to respond without time for games. There is no room room for carefully planned insult or jealousy test. Fear removes the mask they normally wear. Yaman's first instinct is to protect Doga. Doga, despite her lack of experience, refuses to behave like a helpless object waiting to be saved. Their survival depends on trust. Danger often reveals the truth more quickly than conservation. Yaman can claim that Doga means nothing to him, but he cannot hide the way he places himself between her and the threat. Doga can pretend that Yaman is only an irritating farm manager, but she cannot hide her fear when his life is at risk. Their actions become confessions spoken without words. The hostage crisis also brings Ulysses past into the present. Until now, many of the problems at the farm have come from personality differences or business decisions. This danger is older and more personal. Someone believes Ulysses must pay for what happened before, and Doga is used as a way to reach him. The conflict reminds viewers that parents' secrets often become burdens carried by their children. Yaman's role becomes especially meaningful here. Years ago, he was the person harmed inside Hulsi's words. Now he becomes the person trying to save Hulsi's daughter from another form of revenge. He could step away and say that the Arakeli family's problems are not his responsibility. Instead, the becomes more deeply involved. This proves that he is not controlled by bitterness, even if he still believes he is. The latest official update takes the story directly into the episode 8. Doga and Yaman remain caged in a dangerous situation connected to Hulsi's past. During the crisis, Yaman falls into sea while trying to protect Doga, and she jumps after him without stopping to think. After they return to the farm, Yaman gives Doga new responsibilities. At the same time, Nesrine persuades Safed to consider selling his share and secretly works with Marit, threatening the farm's future. The episode is scheduled for Wednesday, July 2026 at 8 p.m. on Star TV. Into the Sea may because one of the most important moments in their relationship. Until this point, Yaman has often been the protector. He understands physical danger and reacts quickly. Doga's decision changed that pattern. She does not calculate the risk or wait for another person to act. When Yaman disappears into the water, her body moves before pride can create an excuse. This action reveals that Yaman is no longer simply a man she finds attractive. His safety has become more important to her than her own fear. Love is often shown through speeches, but Doga's jump has greater meaning because it is immediate. She is not performing for Yaman or trying to win an argument. She responds because the thought of losing him is unbearable. For Yaman, being saved by Doga may be emotionally difficult. He is used to controlling situations and protecting others. Accepting help requires vulnerability. More importantly, her action challenges the image of her he has carried for 5 years. The careless girl who once ignored his pain is now willing to risk herself for him. He can no longer pretend that she has not changed. The sea carries symbolic meaning as well. Water is often connected to cleansing, rebirth, and emotional truth. Both characters entering the water during a life-threatening moment may represent the end of one stage in their relationship. They may return physically exhausted, but emotionally they cannot return to the exact position they occupied before. Yaman's old plan depended on distance. He wanted to remain strong while Doga struggled. The hostage situation and the sea remove that distance. Their fear, breath, and survival become connected when two people face death together. Small arguments can suddenly appear less important. This does not mean their problems disappear, but the emotional value of their relationship changes. After returning to the farm, Yaman gives Doga new responsibilities. This decision can be understood in several ways. On the surface, it may look like another attempt to control her. However, it may also show growing trust. Yaman has watched Doga survive danger and act bravely, giving her serious duties. Suggests that he is beginning to see her as a capable partner rather than a spoiled visitor. Doga may not immediately recognize this trust because of their history. She often reads Yaman's instructions as punishment. She may complain, resist, or excuse him of enjoying his authority. Yet the nature of the task will reveal his true purpose. If he gives her responsibilities that genuinely matter. He is allowing to her to influence the farm's future. This creates an opportunity for Doga to prove that her development is real. Earlier, she searched for quick business success. Now she must show patience and attention. She has to listen to the worker, understand financial limit, and think beyond personal pride. The new responsibilities may place her under pressure, but they can also give her the purpose she has lacked. Yaman may be testing himself as much as he is testing Doga. Trusting her means releasing some control. He has built his identity around being the person who understands what must be done. Allowing Doga to lead part of the work creates risk. If she succeeds, he must accept that his early judgment of her is no longer complete. If she fails, he must decide whether to support her or use the failure as proof that people never change. While Yaman and Doga move closer, the family conflict threatens the ground beneath them. Nesrine's plan involving safer shares is not merely a financial detail. Ownership determined who can shape the farm's future. A soul could bring merit, greater power, and remove control from the people who care about the land. Nesrine's method makes this work would give spotting characters meaningful roles. Veera could manage social communication. Burak could help with visitor or delivers. Safet could receive responsibility in an area that makes him feel respected. Even Nasreen might be offered a clear position, making her choose between family cooperation and marriage secret plan. Giving Safet responsibility is especially important if he feels useful. The shares become more than a financial object, they become part of something he helps build. Merit's offer will then require him to give up identity as well as ownership. Doga should not manipulate him with guilt. She needs to provide honest information about risk and opportunities. If the farm connect guarantee quick profit, she must say so. Trust built on false promises would eventually collapse. Yaman will respect her more if she avoid exaggeration. One of his compliments about her early ideas was that she focused on excitement rather than difficult details. A realistic plan, including possible failure, would show that she is learning to lead. The unexpected surprise may test the plan before it begins. Perhaps Safet announces the sale during a family meal. Perhaps Merit arrives holding signed papers. Perhaps Nesrine openly admits her role and argues that she saved the family from a failing investment. The scene could become explosive. Yaman might move toward married but Doga step between them. This time she is not protected Merit. She is protecting Yaman from making a mistake. She looks directly as him and tells him that they will fight with facts, not violence. Yaman stops because he trusts her. The that passes would be more important than a dramatic punch. It would how that Doga can reach the part of him that revenge and anger he often control. It would also show Merit that providing Yaman will no longer be easy. Merit may then turn his attention to Doga. He can question whether she is legally authorized to challenge to agreement. Doga may surprise him with knowledge of the company rules or documents she obtained from Hulsi. Her old world, which once separated her from Yaman, becomes a tool she uses to protect his word. This reversal is central to her journey. Wealth and education are not problems by themselves. The problem is using privilege without responsibility. Doga does not need to reject every advantage she has. She needs to use those advantages fairly. A man must learn to accept help that comes from a system he distrusts. A lawyer, company record, or financial agreement may save the farm. Using these tools does not mean betraying the workers, it means understanding that modern problems require more than physical strength. Their cooperation could expose a weakness in Merit's agreement. Maybe Safet did not receive a fair valuation. Maybe another family member has the right to say shares first. Maybe the land cannot be used for the project Merits want. Each discovery would require patience and careful work. As they spent late nights studying document, the emotional tension will return. Doga and Yaman may sit close together over a table, tried but determined. Their hands could touch while reaching for the same paper. Neither moves away immediately. A simple movements like this can carry more emotion than an open declaration. They have survived the sea, but closeness is in quiet room may frighten them or this approach will make Doga a smarter apartment. Merit may expect emotional resistance. Careful analysis will be harder to defeat. She can attend meetings, ask specific questions, and force him to place promises in writings. Eventually, he must accept that Doga has the right to choose. He can explain the danger and take precautions, but he could order her life. Allowing her to remain will be another form of trust. They may strengthen forms of security together. This practical project can connect the kidnapping with the sheer conflict. Cameras, visitor records, and control access can protect both people and documents. Doga's knowledge of modern system could be useful while Yaman knows the physical land and its weak point. Working the purpose together may produce calm scenes after the intense action. During these walks, they can speak about ordinary things. Doga may ask what Yaman wanted from life before the interview. He may tell her about the kind of engineer he hoped to become. This conversation would help her understand that she did not only damage Ken's job opportunity, she became connected to a larger change in his direction. Yaman may admit that the failure pushed him toward a life he now values. That does not make the humiliation acceptable, but it complicates his feeling. Without that day, he might never have come to the farm. He might never have become the man Dogas views. Dogas should not use this fact to reduce her responsibility. She can say that a good result does not make a cruel action right. Yaman will respect this answer because she is not searching for an excuse. He may then recognize that his life is not a reunite version of the future he planned. It is simply different. This realization can help him stop viewing success only as average against the people who rejected him. Doga can ask whether he still wants the old job or the approval of Adkali holding. Yaman may realize that he does not what he wanted was proof that he had value. The farm and the people around him already provide that proof. His remaining anger is therefore less about the lost job and more about the feeling of being invisible. Doga's present attention challenges that wanted. She now sees his skill, strength, fear, and kindness more clearly than most people do. For Yaman, accepting her love would mean accepting recognition from the same person who once failed to see him. That can be healing, but it can also feel dangerous. He may worry that giving her importance gives her the power to hurt him again. No promise can completely remove that risk. Doga cannot prove that he will same person who once failed to see him. They can be healing, but it can also feel dangerous. Doga cannot prove that she will never make another mistake. She can only show that she now understands the value of trust. The farm battle provides many chances to show it. She can product confidential information, refuse narrates offers, stand against from the keep daily pressure, and complete the duties. Yaman gives her trust it built from repeated choices. Yaman must make repeated choices as well. He can include her in plans, listen to her warnings, and speak honestly when fear makes his deeds distant. He cannot demand transparency while keeping his own intentions hidden. Their partnership may finally become clear during a meeting about the shares. Yaman begins explaining the farm practical future. Doga follows with the financial plan. They speak from different area of knowledge but support the same goal. The family watches them and realizes that they produce together. Merit may also understand that supporting them will be more difficult than expected. Nesrines could attempt one final move, revealing that Doga used company resources without Hulsi's permission. Hulsi becomes angry, and Doga is closing access to the very tool needed to protect the farm. Yaman may step forward and accept part of the responsibility. He can explain that the decision was made for the workers, not for personal gain. His willingness to stand beside Doga in front of Hulsi would confirm their alliance. Hulsi then faces a choice. He can punish his daughter for acting independently or recognize that she has finally become the responsible person he wanted her to be. The irony may soften him. He might still set conditions, but he should allow Doga to continue. This would mark a new stage in their father daughter relationship. She is no longer simply receiving opportunities from his, she is creating her own position. The farm itself may survive the immediate shared threat without becoming completely safe. Merit will not disappear after one defeat. The inheritance mystery remains open. Fear and Samra's action may lead to legal questions. Yuli's past skill needs explanation. Yet the central group will be stronger. Crisis may destroy families, but it can also reveal which relationships are real. The kidnapping shows Yaman loyalty. The shared battle can show Doga's commitment. Hayuli's confession can show whatever he values truth, that pride. At the end of the section, Yaman and Doga may find a brief moment alone. The farm is quiet after another exhausting day. They say earlier near the water, but the peaceful sea reminds both of them of the night they almost died. Droga may joke that Yaman now owns her life. He could answer that she created the danger. By jumping after him, she reminds him that he's entered the boat first. Their familiar argument returns, but neither is truly angry. Yaman asks what she did it. He already knows the answer, but he needs to hear something. Doga looks at him and says that the soul of not watch him disappear. She does not say that she loves him. She does not need to. Her voice carries everything she is not ready to name. Yaman looks toward the water because meeting her eyes feels too dangerous. He may say that she should never risk herself like that again. Doga answered that he must make the same promise. He cannot promise because both know he would always go after her. The silence becomes their agreement. Neither can ask her to stop doing what they themselves would do. This is the new law between them. They may continue fighting, they may deny their feelings and create new rules, yet when real danger arrives, each will move toward each other. Their enemies will soon understand this weakness. Merit may realize that threatening the farm can control both of them. Hyulsi's names already used Doga to reach him. Future conflicts could use Yaman and Doga attachment against them. Love creates strength through partnership, but it also creates fear through possible loss. The next stages of the story will ask whether they can accept both sides. Yaman has lived safely behind emotional walls. Those walls are beginning to fall. Doga has lived freely without deep responsibility. That freedom is becoming commitment. Each person is entering a life that feels more dangerous but also more meaningful. Keklik's farm stand at the center of the transformation. It is no longer simply the place where Hulsi sent his irresponsible daughter. It is the place where Yaman's past returned, where Doga discovered purpose, where old love began again, and where hidden ambition revealed itself. The coming conflict will be difficult. The sheer agreement may succeed. Hyuli's truth may divide the family. Merit may gain power. Yaman and Doga may hurt each other again. Growth does not remove conflict, it changes the way people respond to it. The important question is no longer whether problems will appear, the question is whether Yaman and Doga will force those problems together. The sea has already given them its answer. When one falls, the other follows. Now the land will demand a second answer. When the farm begins to fall, will they once again reach for each other? Everything in their stories suggests that they will, even if pride make the path difficult. Yaman may call it responsibility, Doga may call it stubbornness, their family may call it partnership. Viewers all recognize it as love. And as the struggle falls, courtship begins, the farm will stop begun only the background of their romance. It will become take place where that romance prove whether it has the strength to survive. The farm looks peaceful when Yaman and Doga finally returns, but the calm appearance is false. The sun is rising over the fields, the animals are beginning to move, and the workers are preparing for another day. From a distance, nothing seems different, yet ever inside the farmhouse, knows that the night has changed them. Doga was kidnapped because of the conflict that began long before she understood anything about the farm. Yaman nearly lost his life while trying to save her. Hulsi has discovered that a secret from his past can no longer remain buried. At the same time, another danger is quietly growing inside the family. This danger does not arrive with weapons or threats. It arrives through money signatures and private agreements. The farm has survived the attack at sea, but a greater battle is now waiting on land. Doga walked into the farmhouse slowly. Her clothes have been changed, but she still feels the cold water against her skin. Every time she closes her eyes, she sees Yaman falling into the darkness. She sees the empty surface where he disappeared. She remembers the fear that entered her heart before she jumped after him. The memory follows her through every room. People surrounding ask whether she is hurt, whether she needs a doctor, and whether she wants to rest. She answers them without truly hearing the questions. Her attention remains fixed on Yaman. He is standing near the door, speaking to the police and hiding his pain as though nothing serious happened. He looks calm, but Doga has already seen the truth. She knows how choose he came to never returning. Hulsi moves toward his daughter and holds her tightly. He is relieved, frightened, and ashamed. For years, he believed that he could protect his family by controlling information. He kept difficult truth inside locked rooms and old files. He told himself that the past had ended because no one spoke about it. Now the past has entered his daughter's life in the most violent way. Doga feels her father's names around her, but she does not return the embrace immediately. She loves him, yet her love is mixed with anger. She wants comfort, but she also wants an explanation. A father cannot simply say that everything is over when his hidden decisions have placed his child in danger. Doga finally pulls away and looks at Hulsi. Her voice is quiet, but the entire room becomes silent when she asks how Muzaffar and Samra really are. Hulsi tries to avoid to answer. He says that they are confused people who blame him for an old family problem. Doga does not accept these confused strangers do not normally create a detailed kidnapping plan. They do not know private information about the family unless there is a deeper connection. They do not speak about stolen inheritance unless they believe that something was taken from them. Doga tells her father that she is no longer a child who can be sent away while adult disgrace met. She was the person tied up on that boat. She has earned the right the heir to the truth. Yaman remains near the doorway. He does not interrupt, but this presence increases the pressure on Hulsi. Yaman also wants answers. He followed the kidnappers without knowing why they were targeting Doga. He entered the boat without understanding what kind of enemy he was facing. If he had known the complete story, he might have prepared a safer rescue. Hulsi's silence did not protect anyone, it made every person more vulnerable. Human has little patience for rich and powerful people who hide mistake behind formal words. He has experienced how easily such people can make decisions that change another person's life. As he watches Hulsi struggle to answer, the old anger inside him begins to rise. Hulsi asks everyone except Doga, Yaman and Perihan to leave the room. He closes the door and sits down. For the first time, he appears older than his usual confident image. The powerful businessman disappears and a tired man takes his place. Perihan watches him with the sadness that suggests the already knows part of the story. Doga notices this and realizes that Hulsi's secret may be connected not only to money but also the years when he and Perihan were young. The past is not a simple business record, it is a part of the emotional history that shaped the entire family. Hulsi begins carefully many years earlier. Before Kelly Holding became powerful, he worked with Muzaffar's father on land development project. The two men were not equal partners. Hulsi had stronger business connection while the other family have vulnerable land but little money. The agreement was supposed to bring profit to both sides. Hulsi would provide investment and management. Muzaffar's father would provide access to property. At first, the relationship appeared successful. The financial problem began. Cost increased, permits were delayed, and the project started losing money. Each man blamed the other, trust disappeared, and the partnership turned into a legal fight. Hayulsi explained that Muzaffar's further signed document transforming part of the land to the company. According to the official record, the transfer was legal. The business survived, but Muzaffar's family lost most of its control. Years later, they claimed that the older man had been pressured into signing. Yulsi always thought behind this. He believed that he followed the agreement and prevented the project from completely falling. However, he never told Toga that the land later became connected to the investment surrounding Keklik's farm. The kidnapping was not only about an old inheritance. It was also about the farm's present value. Doga listens without speaking. Her father's explanation is clear, but it does not answer the most important question. She asks what her Muzaffar's father understood what he was singing. Yulsi says that the documents were prepared by lawyers. Doga repeats the question. Did the man truly understand that he was giving up control? Yulsi looked toward Perihan instead of answering. That silence tells Doga more than words. The agreement may have been legal, but legal does not always mean fair. A powerful business can follow the rules while still using another person's weakness. Yaman feels the old interview memory returning. 5 years earlier, the people inside Hulsi company looked at him for a few moments and decided that he was not worth hearing. No one broke a law, no one forced him to leave at gunpoint, yet the experience was still unfair. Power can harm people without leaving an obvious legal crime behind. Yaman understands why Muzaffar's family might remain angry, but he cannot excuse kidnapping. Pain may explain violence, but it does not make violence right. Muzaffar and Samra choose the threatened and innocent woman rather than search for justice through honest means. Perihan finally speaks. She says that she wanted Hulsi at the time. The other family was frightened and did not understand the instead of the business process. Hayulsi was focused on saving his company and proving that he could succeed. He convinced himself that survival justified every hard decision. Perihan believed he should allow down and find a solution that allowed both families to keep something. Hulsi refused. Their disagreement became one of the reasons they separated. Perihan could not remain beside a man who was becoming more interested in victory than fairness. This confession changes the measuring of Hulsi and Perihan's renewed closeness. Their love did not end simply because time or family pressure separated them. It ended because Perihan questioned the person Hulsi was becoming. If they want a second chance, Hulsi must face the decision that damaged their relationship. He cannot charm her with old memories while continuing to avoid responsibility. The post has returned because it was never honestly resolved. Dogar turns toward Perihan and asks why she never said anything. Perihan answered that it was Hulsi's truth to tell. She also believed that the matter had ended after Muzaffar's father died. She now understands that silence allowed restaurant to pass from one generation to the next. Muzaffar and Samra inherited more than property claims. They inherited anger, shame, and the belief that the Akreli family had built success from their loss. By refusing to discuss the past, both families allowed the story to become awaker with each passing year. Yaman asks whether any part of Keklik farm can still be legally claimed by Muzaffar's family. Huyulsi says the records show clear ownership, but he no longer sounds certain. Some papers are missing. Other documents were moved when the company changed offices. A small section of land may have been placed under a temporary agreement that was never properly closed. If this is true, the kidnapping may be part of a larger effort to force Hulsi into admitting that the ownership history is not as clean as he claims. This possibility creates an immediate threat if the farm ownership can be challenged. Merit's secret attempt to buy Sifet their share become becomes even more dangerous. A person with inside ownership could use an old illegal dispute to stop the firm's work demand to solve or create years of expensive court cases. Merritt may know more about Hulsey's post than anyone realizes. His interest in the shares may not be simple investment. He could be building a position from which he can control both the family and the dispute land. Yaman asks Hulsi whether Merritt has access to company records. Hulsi answered that Merritt has worked with family connected to actually holding and may know former employees. This is enough to increase Yaman's suspicion. The attack at sea and the share plan may appear separate, but both depend on information that should have remained private. Someone should be fielding difficult to different enemies. The family is not facing only old revenge, it may be facing a coordinated attempt to weaken the firm from several direct ends. Doga refuses to let the discussion become another secret meeting controlled by Hulsi. She says that the workers and shareholders must be told enough to protect themselves. Hulsi objects. He fears panic if people hear that the ownership may be challenging. They could leave, sell their shares, or separate rumors. Doga answered then people are already making hidden deals because they do not trust the family. Silence has not created stability, it has created an empty space that Merit and Nasreen can fill with their own story. Yaman agrees with Doga, surprising Hulsi. He says the worker do not need every private detail, but they deserve to know that the firm may force legal and financial pressure. They should hear the truth from the people they trust before Merit reaches them with lies. Hulsi studies Yaman and Doga standing beside one another. Their cooperation is becoming natural. Neither notices how closely they are working because their attention is focused on the danger. Hulsi notices and the discovery bring another worry. His daughter is no longer simply learning from Yaman, she is beginning to choose his judgment over her father's. After the meeting, Yaman leaves the farmhouse and walks toward the storage building. Doga follows. She wants to discuss what they should do next, but Yaman tells her to rest. His voice is firm. Doga immediately becomes angry. She has just demonstrated the truth from her father, and now Yaman is trying to remove her from the investigation. She knows that whether he believes jumping into the sea has made her weak. Yaman says the opposite. He believes it proved that she takes risks without considering the result. Doga tells him that he has no right to criticize her. He entered an armed criminal's boat alone. Yaman answered that he knew what he was doing. Doga laughs without humor. He fell into the sea and nearly died, so his plan was clearly not perfect. Yaman moves closer and tells her that she could have died because she followed him. Doga replies that he could have died because he followed her. For several seconds, neither speaks. Their argument has reached the truth that both are trying to avoid. They asked themselves because they could not leave the other person in danger. Yaman looks away first. He says that the situation is different because protecting the farm and its people is his responsibility. Doga asks when she became only part of his work. Was she another animal he had to rescue? Was she a broken machine? Was she simply an assignment given by Hulsi? Yaman does not answer. Doga steps closer and tells him to stop hiding behind responsibility. He did not look at her like an employee on that boat. She did not jump into the sea because he was the farm manager. The danger revealed something they can no longer deny. Yaman's face became hard because Doga's words reached the place he protects most carefully. He says that strong emotions during danger do not always mean that what people think. Doga asks why he is so afraid of what they might mean. He tells her that he is not afraid. She quietly answered that he is more frightened of her than he was of the kidnapper. The sentence angered him, but is it true? A criminal can injure his body. Doga has the power to reopen a wound that shaped his entire life. Instead of continuing the argument, Yaman gave Doga a set of keys. They belong to the small office where the farm's business records are kept. He tells her that she wanted real responsibility and now she has it. She must review her supplier agreements, worker payments, and ownership expenses. He wants a clear report showing how long the farm can continue if merit creates financial problems. Doga look at the keys and understand that this is not a punishment. Yaman is trusting her with information that can decide the farm's future. She asks whether he is giving her the work because he believes she can do it or because he wants to avoid speaking about the sea. Yaman says both reasons can be true. It is the closest he comes to admitting that their conversation frightened him. Doga accepts the keys. She tells him that he will not escape forever. Yaman answers that she should finish the report before chasing him. Their familiar conflict returns, but the sharpness is softer. They have not solved the emotional problem, they have simply agreed to carry it with them while they work. Inside the office, Doga discovers how complicated the farm situation really is. There are unpaid bills, old loans, equipment that need repair, and contracts that bring little profit. Hulsi's money has protected the farm from immediate failure, but it has also all people to avoid difficult changes. The business survives because someone powerful can cover losses. There, that is not true independent. If Hulsi withdraws his report or become trapped in a legal fight, the firm could collapse quickly. Doga studies each file earlier in her life. She would have become bored after a few pages. She might have called an assistant or decided that someone else should handle the details. Now she minutes for all. Merritt's involvement suggests ambition. He does not need to attack Yaman directly if he can gain influence through shares. Business conflict allows him to use contracts, money, and private promises as weapons. Yaman understands physical labor and farm management, but stopping a secret sale may require him to enter a more complicated legal and family struggle. Doga may become essential in this conflict. She understands her family's business world better than Yaman does. Her knowledge of people, company behavior, and negotiation can help protect the farm. This is where the strength of the two main characters may finally begin working together. Yaman knows what must be protected. Doga may know how to protect it inside the system. Their cooperation would represent major growth at the beginning. Each tries to prove that the other's way of thinking is useless. The farm conflict can show that both are incomplete alone. Yaman's practical knowledge cannot solve every corporate problem. Doga's business ideas cannot survive without understanding real conditions. Together, they may become stronger than either is separately. The shared sale may also force Doga to choose between old family habits and her new sense of responsibility. In the past, she might have treated the farm as another investment. After living there, knowing the people, and working beside Yaman, she understands that selling power is not a simple business move. It can destroy a community. Yaman's reaction will likely be intense because he sees the farm as something alive to him and is not only a number on a document. It carries labor, memory, and the future of the people who depend on it. Learning about the secret agreement may feel like betrayal, especially if family members have placed personal gain above shared responsibility. The official update warns that a major surprise waits for Yaman as he tries to stop the sale. The exact nature of that surprise has not been officially revealed in the written summary. It may involve a hidden buyer, an unexpected owner, a past agreement, or someone Yaman believed he could trust. Because the series often connects emotional and business conflict, the surprise may affect both the farm and his relationship with Doga. This is an interpretation based on the confirmed episode 8 setup, not a confirmed plot. Factability is that Doga may take an unexpected step to protect the farm. She could use her own position, money, or family influence before Yaman has time to act. Such a decision would surprise him because he still does not fully expect her to sacrifice comfort for responsibility. It would also show that the farm has become part of her identity. Another possibility is that Hulsi knows more about the ownership situation than he has revealed. His past is already creating physical danger. It may also be connected to the farm's financial structure. A hidden promise or old debt could explain why certain People are eager to gain control. If so, Yaman and Doga may discover that the farm was never a simple investment. The surprise could also involve Safet. He may appear easy to influence, but he could have his own plan. He might agree to the sale for reasons no one understands, or he could secretly be testing Nesrine's and merit. The series has enough comedy in its family scans to allow a character who appears confused to suddenly reveal unexpected awareness. Whatever happens, episode 8 appears designed to bring the romance and the business story together. The sea incident punishes Yaman and Doga towards emotional honesty. The sheer conflict pushes them toward practical partnership. One storyline concerned saving a person, the other concerned saving a place. In both cases, trust becomes necessary. The central question is whether Yaman can stop viewing every interaction through the memory of the interview. His pain is valid, but Doga is no longer exactly the same person. She has begun facing consequences, accepting difficult work, and acting with courage. If he refuses to recognize any growth, his revenge will become another form of unfair judgment. Doga must also avoid demanding forgiveness as though it is something she deserves immediately. She cannot control Yaman's healing. What she can control is her own behavior. Every responsible decision, honest apology, and act of loyalty gives him new evidence. She must become better because it is right, not only because she wants Yaman's love. This difference is important. Changing only to win another person often produces temporary behavior. Real growth continues even when no reward is promised. The farm gives Dogas an opportunity to discover whether she truly wants a meaningful life or simply wants to prove Yaman wrong. Her choices during the ownership crisis may provide the answer. Yaman's growth requires a different form of courage. He already knows how to work, lead, and protect. His weakness is emotional opponents. He uses anger to avoid admitting fear. Revenge allows him to remain connected to Doga without showing that he wants her. Instruction allow him to care for her without naming the care. Protection allow him to love her while pretending he is only doing his duty. After the sea incident, these excuses may become harder to maintain. Doga's action clearly shows how much he matters to her. If he continues treating her only as an enemy, he will be ignoring reality. He does not have to forget the past, but he must decide whether he wants to live inside it forever. The title, The Law of Nature, becomes more meaningful through this struggle. Nature does not erase damage instantly. A broken branch needs time to heal. Burnt land may grow again, but not because the free never happened. Healing accepts the damage and then creates new life around it. Yaman and Doga's relationship may follow the same pattern. Their love cannot return them to the people they were before the interview because those people no longer exist. Yaman cannot become the innocent young man who trusted the fairness of the world. Doga cannot become someone who never spoke cruelly. They can only create a future as the people they are now carrying knowledge gained through pain. This makes the romance more mature than a simple enemies to lover story. The attraction is entertaining, but the emotional question is serious. Can love grow between two people when one was responsible for the other's deepest humiliation? Can the injured person forgive without losing self respect? Can the person who caused harm accept responsibility without becoming trapped in shame? The answer must involve balance. Yaman should not be pressured to pretend the past does not matter. Doga should not be punished forever after showing genuine change. Forgiveness is not approval of what happened. It is decision that the want will no longer control every future moment. The farm community can help them reach this balance because it constantly forces them to look beyond themselves. When a businessman problem affects workers, their private war becomes less important. When danger reaches the family, they must cooperate. Responsibility teaches them that love is not only a feeling, it also the decision to protect something larger than pride. Hyulse's role may become central in helping or delaying that growth. He sent Doga to the farm to teach her discipline, but he may not have expected the experience to change her loyalties. As she becomes attached to the land to Yaman, she may begin questioning for her father's decision. Yulsi may discover that raising an independent daughter means accepting that she will not always obey him. He must also face the consequences of his past. The hostage crisis make it clear that unresolved problems do not disappear simply because years pass. Like Yaman's emotional want, Hulsi's old conflict has remained alive. The difference in that Hulsi's past now places others in danger. He cannot continue protecting his secrets if silence threatens his daughter. This creates a possible connection between Yaman and Hulsi. Both men are carrying histories that affect Doga. Yaman's histories make him emotionally harsh with her. Hulsi's history creates outside danger. Both may believe they are protecting her while hiding important truths. Doga's growth may require her to demand honesty from both men. She should not remain only the daughter being protected or the woman being fought over. Her jump into the sea shows that she can act. Her new farm duties can show that she can lead. Her response to the shared sale can show that she can make strategic decisions. These developments may finally place her at the center of her own story. Yaman will need to accept this independence. Protectiveness can become another form of control. When it ignores the other person's ability, he may want to keep Doga away from danger, but she has already shown that she will enter danger for him. A real partnership will require him to share information and allow her to make choices. Doga must also learn that independence is not the same as refusing advice. Earlier, she often rejected Yaman's warning because she does not want him to control her. The mysterious visitors prove that some warnings come from experience rather than arrogance. Growth means knowing when to defend one's own judgment and when to respect another person's knowledge. The upcoming episode can therefore move them from competition and partnership. They may still argue because their personalities are naturally strong. The difference will be the purpose of those arguments. Instead of fighting to defeat each other, they can challenge each other while working toward the same goal. This kind of partnership would preserve the humor of the series. Yaman and Doga do not need to become quiet or completely agreeable. Their energy comes from contrast. He is controlled, practical, and connected to routine. She is spontaneous, creative, and drawn to change. Love should not remove those differences, it should teach them how to use the differences productively. The same idea applies to their social backgrounds. Yaman should not have to enter Doga's wealthy world and lose his values. Doga should not have to reject every part of her background to prove that she has changed. Their challenges to build space where knowledge, money, work, and human dignity can exist together. The farm is the ideal place for that experiment. Is connected to the Hulsi's investment but depend on Yaman's experience. It needs new ideas but also respect for tradition. It contains family history and future possibility. If Yaman and Doga can protect it together, they may also prove that their words do not have to destroy one another. The threat from merit and the secret share arrangement may test this possibility. Financial pressure often reveals how much people truly value their principles. It is easy to speak about loyalty when nothing is at risk. When memory, control, or security is offered, hidden priorities become visible. Nasreen's action may come from ambition, fear, resentment, or a desire for independence. The series may eventually explain her reasons, but scarcity already makes the plan dangerous. By persuading Safet and working privately with Merit, she removes the rest of the family from a decision that affects everyone. Safet's position is also emotionally complicated. Selling shares may give him freedom or financial security. He may feel ignored inside the family and see the sale as his only chance to take control of his life. Yaman's attempt to stop him cannot succeed through anger alone. He may need to understand why Safet is willing to sell. This will test Yaman's leadership. A strong leader does not only give orders, he listens, negotiates, and understands what other people fear. Yaman is excellent at practical work, but family conflict require emotional flexibility. Doga may help communicate in a way that does not turn Safet into an enemy. At the same time, Doga may need need Yaman's steadiness. Family arguments can trigger old patterns. Yulzi's authority, Nesrine's pressure, and Merit's ambition may pull her into emotional story. Yaman can remind her to focus on evidence and consequences. Their different strength can protect them from each other's weakness. The danger connected to Ulysses may not end with the escape. People seeking revenge rarely stop after one failed attempt. Even if Yaman and Doga return safely, the larger threat may remain. This can force Ulysses to reveal the full history behind the attack. Doga deserves to know why she was targeted. Keeping her uniformed would make another attack easier. Yaman will likely demand answer because he cannot protect her against a threat he does not understand. This may create conflict between him and Hulsi, especially if Hulsi tries to use wealth authority to silence questions. Yaman's anger toward powerful may return in these scenes. Hulsi represents the system that once demeaned him. Although Hulsi may not have personally caused the interview humiliation, his company created the setting in which it happened. Now Yaman may stand before him not as a rejected candidate but as the man who saved his daughter. The reversal is emotionally powerful. Yaman no longer needs Hulsi's approval. Hulsi may need Yaman's courage and knowledge, yet Yaman's true victory will not come from humiliating Hulsi in return. It will come from behaving with more dignity than that people who once judged him. That is the difference between revenge and justice. Revenge repeats pain. Justice recognizes harm and creates accountability. Yaman begins the story waiting Doga to feel what he felt over time. He may realize that making her suffer cannot restore the younger man's confidence. What can heal him is knowing that the humiliation did not define his worth. Doga can help him reach this understanding, but she cannot do the work for him. Her love may create safety, yet Yaman must choose to stop measuring his present through an old movement. Until he does, every disagreement will feel connected to the interview, even when it is not. Doga has her own internal work. She must understand why she once found it easy to laugh at someone who appeared weak. Was she trying to impress Veera? Was she repeating the attitude of the wealthy people around her? Did comfort make her unable to imagine another person's struggle? Answering these questions can prevent her from repeating the behavior. Her development will become more convincing if she begins treating everyone differently. Not only Yaman, respecting workers, listening to local people, and taking responsibility for failed ideas will show that she has learned a journal lesson. Yaman should not be the only person who receives her improved behavior simply because she loves him. The failed beach project already gives her one such lesson. She wanted to improve the farm's income, which is not a bad goal. The mistake was assuming that a profitable idea automatically becomes a good idea. By listening to community objections, she can become a better businesswoman, one who considers both money and people. Yaman can also learn from the project. Being correct does not mean every modern idea should be rejected. Once Doga becomes more careful, her creativity may help the farm survive financial threats. Yaman's duty is not to protect the farm from all challenge. It is to guide change so that it does not destroy what matters. This balance may be necessary if the farm needs money to prevent a share sale. Doga could develop a new plan that respects local access and creates sustainable income instead of repeating the beach mistake. She may work with the community. Such a success would show clear growth and give Yaman a reason to trust her judgment. The romance would then grow through shared advisement rather than only danger. Saving each other during a crisis create emotional intensity, but building something together creates lasting connection. Yaman and Doga need both. The sea may reveal their feelings, the farm may teach them how to live with those feelings. Episode 8 may not deliver a complete confession because Turkish drama often allow emotional tension to build slowly. Yaman and Doga may come close to honesty, then rehanted behind your anger. Even so, their behavior after the hostage crisis will matter more than a direct declaration. A quiet moment can show change. Yaman may watch Doga differently after remembering her jump into the sea. Doga may become unusually silent when she realizes how close she came to losing him. Their usual arguments may contain a new softness. Small gestures can reveal that the emotional will has weakened. The preview language suggests fear of becoming attached. Attachment is clearly present, but admitting it creates risk. Yaman fears that love will make him vulnerable to the same person who once hurt him. Doga fears that Yaman's resentment may always be stronger than his affection. Both may prefer conflict because conflict feels safer than hope. Hope demands trust, and trust can be broken. Yaman knows his from experience. Doga is learning it now. Their path forward requires them to accept that no relationship can be completely safe. Love does not promise that pain will never happen. It asks whether two people are willing to behave honestly when pain appears. The danger around Hulsi may accelerate that decision after facing a real threat. Yaman may realize that time is not unlimited. He spent years preparing for an imagined moment of revenge. Yet life can change in seconds. Holding Doga at a distance may protect his pride, but it cannot protect him from regard. Doga may reach the same conclusion. She has often treated work, family duties, and relationship as things that can be handled later. The hostage crisis teaches her that later is not granted. This lesson could make her more direct about both the farm and Yaman. Still, emotional honesty does not require immediate romance. They first need the truthful conversation about the interview. Yaman should explain what that they did to him without using the story as a weapon. Doga should listen without defending herself. She can explain her immaturity, but explanation must not become an excuse. A sincere apology would recognize the sacrifice him. She judges his appearance, treated his nervousness as weakness, and helped to an important opportunity into humiliation. Yaman's response may be complicated. He might not forgive immediately, but hearing that responsibility could become the process. Yaman should also admit that his later behavior has sometimes crossed a line. Being hurt does not give him unlimited permission to control or humiliate Doga. Some of his farm challenges may have been useful, but others were influenced by revenge. Accountability must move in both directions if their love is going to be healthy. This mutual honesty would separate the past from the present. The young Doga hurt the young Yaman. The present Yaman has also hurt the present Doga. Neither truth remove the other. Both must be accepted. The family storyline may interrupt such as conversation, but that delay can strengthen the drama. External pressure often pushes characters or reveal priorities through action. If Yaman depends Doga during the shared conflict and the stands beside him against her own relatives, their loyalty will become clear before they name it. Merritt may try to use their personal conflict against them. He could suggest that Yaman is only interested in revenge or that Doga will eventually return to her wealthy life. Such words would target their deepest fears. The strength of their relationship will depend on whether they believe each other or allow an outsider to control the story. Netizens may also question Doga's commitment. She should excuse her of treating the farm like a temporary adventure. The accusation would have been accelerated earlier. Now it may force Doga to prove that her connection is real. Safer choice could become the deciding factor. If he feels respected, he may reconsider the sale. If Yaman approaches him with anger, Merritt's offer may become more attractive. Doga's ability to understand family emotions could prevent the crisis from becoming permanent. Hulsi may try to solve everything with money, but the problem appears to involve trust rather than price alone. He sent Doga to learn responsibility, and now he may have to learn that financial power cannot repair every damaged relationship. His family needs truth and communication, not only business decisions. The series has already shown the expensive starting do not guarantee dignity and simple surrounding do not indicate weakness. Yaman once proved powerless inside the holding company but possessed talent and determination. Doga arrives at the farm with wealth but lacks practical strength. Their reverse journeys challenges the idea that social position reveals human value. Yaman's transformation could easily become a fantasy about proving everyone wrong through appearance and status. The story becomes more meaningful when it shows that his real strength is character. He protects people, work honestly, and understands responsibility. His attractiveness may capture Doga's attention, but his values are what can earn lasting love. Doga's transformation also need to move beyond becoming more acceptable to Yaman. Her journey is about finding purpose. She begins with access to everything but commitment to almost nothing. The farm teaches her that effort can create satisfaction that comfort cannot provide. This is why her new responsibilities in episode 8 matter. They are not simply tasks added to the plot, they represent a question: can Doga build something instead of only enjoying what others have built? If she answers yes, she will finally step outside Hulsi's shadow. The episode may show her failing at part of work, and that would not damage her development. Growth does not mean instant perfection. The important difference is whether she expects the failure, learns, and continues. Earliest Doga might have abundance. The difficult project, the new Doga must stay. Yaman's response to her mistake will reveal his development too. If he uses every problem to mock her, he remains trapped in revenge. If he corrects her family but fairly, he becomes a true mentor and partner. Respect does not require softness at every moment. It requires desire to help the other person improve rather than enjoy their failure. Their relationship may therefore enter a more mature stage after episode 8. The playful conflict will continue, but the emotional purpose will change. They will no longer be strangers repeating an old want. They will be two people deciding whether to create a shared future. The major surprise waiting for Yaman may delay that future. It could introduce a truth about ownership, Hulsi, or even Yaman's own history. The series has built its central relationship around a past event, so another hidden connection would fit the larger design. There may be information about why Yaman's interview ended as it did, who made the final decision, or whether someone later followed his career. Perhaps the incident that shaped him was more complicated than he knows. Such a revelation could change the direction of his anger. However, the surprise does not need to rewrite the original event to be powerful. It may simply show that Doga has taken a serious step on his behalf. Yaman expects people with money to protect themselves first. Seeing Doga risk her position or inheritance to save the farm would challenge that belief. Her sea rescue already challenges his personal judgment. A financial sacrifice could challenge his social judgment. Together, these actions would show him that she is not only attracted to him, she shares his values more than either of them expected. Doga may also discover that Yaman's desire to protect the farm is not based only on work. The place may connect to his need for stability, dignity, and belonging. Understanding this will help her see why the shared sales feels so personal. For someone who has always had a family name and a secure home, belonging can appear automatic. Yaman's journey suggests that he has built belonging through effort. The farm respects him because he has earned trust there. Losing control to merit would her before feel like losing part of the life he created after the interview humiliation. Doga can become part of that belonging without taking it away from him. Her challenge is to stand beside him rather than above him. She must avoid using her family status as the final authority whenever they disagree. Yaman must allow her to belong without constantly reminding her that she arrived late. People can become committed to a place through change and choice. Doga's connection may be new, but that does not make it false. The sporting characters will judge this partnership according to their own interest. Some will welcome Doga's growth because it protects the farm. Others may fear that her closeness to Yaman threatens their plan. Romance inside a family business is never private because emotional alliances influence power. Vera may notice Doga change before Doga admits it. As her oldest friend, she knows the difference between temporary excitement and serious emotion. She may tease her, warn her, or force her to confront what she feels. Yulsi may also see that his punishment created an unexpected bond. He wanted the farm to discipline his daughter. not necessarily to connect her life with Yaman's. His reaction will depend on whether he respects Yaman or continues judging him through class. If Hulsi rejects Yaman because of social background, he will repeat the same mistake that began the story. This would force Doga to choose whether she values her father's approval more than her own judgment. Her response would prove how far she has grown. Yaman might resist the relationship before Hulsi has the chance. He may assume that their words are too different and decide that love will eventually humiliate him again. This fear would be understandable but unfair to Doga. He cannot demand that she judging him while judging her future behavior through her family background. Both characters must learn to see the individual rather than the category. Doga once saw a messy candidate instead of a talented man. Yaman now risks seeing a rich daughter instead of a changing woman. The story reaches emotional balance when each recognizes this similarity. The law of nature in their relationship may be that pressure reveals truth. The interview pressure revealed Doga's immaturity and Yaman's vulnerability. Farm pressure revealed Doga's determination and Yaman's anger. Jealousy revealed attraction. Danger revealed love. The ownership crisis will reveal loyalty. Every stage removes another layer of performance. By the time the characters finally confess their feelings, the audience will have already seen the confession through their choices. Words will confirm what action have made clear. Episode 8 is therefore not only another chapter in the romantic comedy, it appears to be turning point. Yaman and Doga entered the episode had two people connected by attraction, conflict, and an unresolved past. They may leave it as partners who sold saved account, other and are preparing to protect the farm together. The physical danger creates urgency while the sheer sale creates a long-term problem. Escaping the hostage situation will not solve their lives. They must return home and deal with betrayal, money, responsibility, and family tension. This combination keeps the story from relying on a dramatic rescue. Doga's courage in the water must be followed by courage on land. Jumping after Yaman's is instinctive, standing against her finally, or accepting difficult responsibility requires a slower form of bravery. She must continue choosing growth after the immediate danger pushes. Yaman's courage must also change form. Protecting Doga physically comes naturally to him, trusting her emotionally harder. The episode may ask him to risk his heart after he has already risked his life. This is what makes their story attractive. They are not only moving from harder to romance, they are moving from false ideas toward real knowledge. Yaman learned that Doga is more than the worst thing the once did. Doga learns that Yaman is more than the strong man standing before her. He is also someone who rebuilt. Episode 8 already appears ready to do that. Doga's rescue changes Yaman's understanding of her loyalty. Yaman's protection changes Doga's understanding of his feelings. The sheer conflict changing their understanding of the farm's vulnerability. Hulsi's past changes their understanding of the danger surrounding the family. By the end of this stage, revenge may no longer be Yaman's main goal. He may still speak with danger, but his choices will be guided by fear of losing Doga. That fear is painful, yet it is also proof that the past no longer owns his entire heart. Doga may finally stop treating the farm as an assignment imposed by her father. It can become the first place where she has built respect through her own actions. Protecting it will mean protecting the new version of herself. Their love and the farm's survival are therefore connected. Both require patience, honest work, and protection from selfish decision. Both can be damaged by pride. Both can grow when different strengths are brought together. The most powerful outcome would not be Yaman completely defeating Merit or Doga proving that every idea she has is brilliant. It would be the two of them learning to share victory. Yaman does not need to stand alone to remain strong. Doga does not need to control everything to remain independent. Their future relationship should allow argument without cruelty, leadership without control, and forgiveness without forgetting. Achieving that balance will not be easy, but difficulty is what makes their journey worth watching. For now, viewers are left at the edge of a major change. The past has returned through Hulsi's enemies. The present is threatened by a secret share agreement. The future depends on whether Yaman and Doga can trust each other before outside forces divide them. Doga has already answered one question through her jump into the sea. When Yaman's life is in danger, she chooses him without situation. Now Yaman must answer a harder question when his heart is in danger. Will he continue hiding behind revenge or will he finally choose her? That is where the law of nature becomes more than a story about two attractive people fighting on a beautiful farm. It becomes a story about the natural movement of human emotion. Hurt creates distance, understanding creates doubt, shared danger creates trust. Trust creates attachment, and attachment, whether the characters accept it or not, begins turning into love. Yaman once believed that success would erase the memory of humiliation. He became stronger, respected, and confident. But Doga's return proved that success alone could not heal him. Healing requires him to face the person connected to the wound and recognize that both of them have changed. Doga can believe that life would continue providing new chances without demanding commitment. The farm proves otherwise. The people cannot lose trust. Business can fail, families can divide. A man she cares about can disappear beneath the sea in a single moment. She can no longer leave as though everything important will wait for her. Their second meeting is therefore not only fate bringing two people together, it is life giving both of them the lesson they avoided. Yaman must learn to release pain, Doga must learn to accept responsibility. Each holds part of the other's lesson. The new episode may not complete that journey, but it can make retreat impossible. Once Doga risks her life for Yaman, he cannot honestly call her heartless. Once Yaman risks himself for Doga, she cannot honestly believe his feelings are only hurted. The truth is now visible. Even if neither is ready to speak it, the hidden share deal may force that truth into an action. Protecting the farm will require loyalty, strategy, and sacrifice. It will show whether their connection can survive outside romantic tension. Love is exciting during a rescue, but partnership is tested in meeting disagreements, financial pressure, and family betrayal. Yaman and Doga have the potential to become such partners because their differences cover each other blind spot. He gives structure to her creativity. She gives movement to his quotation. He understands roots. She understands possibility. He protects what exists. She imagines what it can become. When those qualities are caused against each other, they create conflict. When they are used together, they can save the farm and transform both characters. That may be the real loss suggested by the title. Survival does not always belong to the strongest individual. It often belongs to those who learn how to adapt and cooperate. The story has now reached the moment when adaptation is necessary. Yaman's old method of anger and control cannot solve every problem. Doga's old method of charm and quick ideas cannot solve them either. The enemies around them are using ceremony and history. The main couple must respond with trust. Whether they succeed will determine more than ownership. It will decide whether the farm remains a place where people can build a future or become another object controlled by distant ambition. It will decide whether Doga's development continue or collapses under family pressure. It will decide whether Yaman's revenge finally ends. Most importantly, it will decide whether two people who meet at the worst possible moment can recreate something better from at beginning. Their first encounter taught Yaman that appearance can become a weapon. Their life at the farm is teaching Doga that privilege can become blindness. Their growing love offers both of them a chance to become more honest than they were before. The next stage will not be easy. You will see still of explanations. Merit's plans remains active. Nesrine's secret choices may divide the family. Safed shares may change hands, the mysterious enemy may return. Yaman's surprise may open another conflict before the current one closes. But the emotional direction is becoming clear. Doga is no longer running from responsibility, and Yaman is no longer protecting only himself. Their hearts are moving toward the same place even while their words continue fighting. When episode 8 begins, the sea may appears to be the greatest danger. In reality, the greatest danger for Yaman and Doga is what comes after they survive. They must return to a world where feelings need names, choices have consequences, and trust cannot remain unfinished. Doga can save Yaman from the water, but she cannot save him from his past unless he allows himself to heal. Yaman can save Doga from physical danger, but he cannot build her future for her. Each must complete their own transformation while choosing whether to walk beside the other. This is why their story remains competing. They do not complete one another because they are incomplete people waiting for romance. They challenge one another to confront the weakness they have avoided. Love becomes meaningful not because it removes every problem but because it gives a reason to become braver. Yaman's greatest victory will not be seeing Doga defeated, it will be reaching a point where her defeat gives him to no player. Doga's greatest victory will not making Yaman admit that he loves her, it will be becoming someone capable of protecting that love with patience and responsibility. The farm's future, Hurley's secrets, and the hidden shared arrangement will continue adding pressure. Yet pressure has always moved this history forward. It transformed Yaman, awakened Doga, revealed jealousy, and exposed love. Episode 8 New appears, ready to us that pressure again. As the sun rises over the farm after the danger at sea, Yaman and Doga may look like the same two people who have argued since her arrival, but something fundamental will have changed. They will know what they are willing to risk for one another. Once that knowledge exists, revenge can no longer remain simple. Every harsh word will compete with the memory of rescue. Every attempt at distance will compete with the fear they felt. Every business disagreement will carry the possibility of partnership. The old Yaman wanted Doga to understand his pain. The new Yaman may begin waiting her to understand his heart. The old Doga wanted to escape the farm. The new Doga may fight to protect it. Their growth is moving them away from the people who first me in Erkling holding. That first meeting will always be part of their history. The new Yaman may begin waiting her to understand his heart. The old Yoga wanted to escape the farm. The new Doga may fight to protect it. That first meeting will always be part of their history, but it does not have to become the final definition of their relationship. Human beings are responsible for what they do, yet they are also capable of change. The series asks whether love can recognize both truths at once. The answer will come through more than a kiss or confession. It will come through the way Doga handles her new duties, the way Yaman responds to her decisions, the way they challenge Merritt's plan, and the way they demand truth from Hulsey. It will come through whether they continue choosing one another when the immediate danger is gone. For now, the law governing their lives seems unavoidable. The harder they try to stay emotionally separate, the more strongly events connect them. The more they use anger to hide attraction, the more clearly jealousy exposes it. The more Yaman plans revenge, the more often he becomes Doga's protector. The more Doga tries to prove she does not care, the more quickly she moves toward himself when he falls. Nature has its own rules, and so does he. The heart. A seed does not become a tree in one day. Trust does not appear after one apology. Love does not erase pain, but with time, pressure, honesty, and care, something new can grow where there was once only damage. Yaman and Doga are standing as at that point now. Behind them is humiliation, punishment, rivalry, and denial. Before them is danger, family conflict, and a difficult choice. Between those two directions lies the possibility of love. Episode 8 may become the moment when both finally understand that their greatest battle is no longer against each other. Their real enemies are pride, scarcity, fear, and the people willing to destroy the farm for personal gain. When Yaman's move to stop the sale, he may believe he is protecting the land alone. He may soon discover that Doga is ready to stand with him. When Doga accepts her new responsibilities, she may believe she is simply proving herself. She may discover that she is building a life she does not want to live. And when they look at each other after surviving the sea, neither will be capable to see only an enemy from the past. They will see the person who came back, the person who stayed, and the person who refused to let the other disappear. That is where revenge begins to lose its power. That is where responsibility begins becoming purpose, and that is where the difficult, unexpected, and deeply emotional love story of Yaman and Doga truly begins. The previous chapter introduced Yaman's and Doga's conflict. The second section moves forward from episode 7 and focuses on the struggle for the farm, the hidden family plans, and the emotional effects of the seasons. The sea is completely dark when Yaman falls from the boat for one tribal moment. The noise and Doga seems to disappear. She can no longer hear the threats coming from the people holding them prisoner. She cannot hear the engine, the wind, or the water striking the side of the boat. Her eyes remain fixed on the place where Yaman vanished. She waits for his head to rise above the water, but nothing appears. Her mind tells her that jumping after him is dangerous. Her heart refuses to listen before anyone can stop her. She moves toward the edge and throws herself into the sea. Doga does not jump because she wants to look brave. She does not have time to think about what Yaman will say afterward. She does not consider whether he will thank her or continue treating her coldly. She reacts because the idea of leaving him alone in that water is impossible for her. In that single moment, every argument between them loses its importance. The painful interview from 5 years earlier, the battles at the farm, the jealousy, and their harsh words become smaller than the possibility of losing him forever. The cold water surrounds Doga, her clothes become heavy, and fear begins to control her breathing. She reaches the black surface, calling Yaman's name even though the wind carries her voice away. The boat moves farther from her while the waves push her into another direction. She understands that she may have placed herself in the same danger, but she continues swimming. Doga has spent much of her life being protected by money, family, and comfort. Now, none of those things can help her. She has only her demonstration and the desperate hope that Yaman is still alive. When she finally sees movement, she does not know whether it is a wave or a person. She swims toward it and finds Yaman struggling to stay conscious. He has been injured during the fight. His body is strong, but strength cannot protect him from the weight of pain and exhaustion. Doga reaches him and tries to keep his face above the water. Yaman opens his eyes and sees her beside him. Even in his confused condition, his first emotion is anger. She was supposed to remain safe. Instead, she followed him into danger. That anger, however, is mixed with something deeper. Yaman understands what her decision means. Doga did not hesitate. She saw him fall and chose him over her safety. For a man who has spent years believing she was selfish and careless, this realization is powerful. It does not erase the past, but it breaks the simple picture he has kept inside his mind. The girl he remembers from the interview might have laughed at another person's weakness. The woman holding him in the water is risking everything to stop him from sinking. They struggle together until help arrives or until they find a way toward the shore. The exact detail of their escape may be filled with action, but the emotional result will be remain the same. Neither of them can return to the farm pretending that nothing has changed. Before the kidnapping, they could hide behind professional rules. Yaman could insist that he returned only for work. Doga could claim that her interest in him was only curiosity. The sea removed those excuses. Their bodies have already spoken more honestly than their words. When Yaman and Doga finally reach safety, relief does not immediately create romance. Fear often turns into anger after the danger passes. Yaman may blame Doga for jumping into the sea. He may tell her that she could have died. His voice may become hard because he cannot openly describe the terror he felt when he saw her in the water. Doga will not quietly accept this criticism. She may remind him that he jumped onto the criminal boat to rescue her. If he was allowed to risk himself, she will demand to know why she was expected to stand back and watch him disappear. This agreement will look familiar, but its meaning will be different. Earlier, they fought because they wanted control. Now, they fight because each person is frightened by how much the other matters. Yaman's anger says that he cannot bear the thought of Doga's being hurt. Doga's anger says that she will not accept a life in which Yaman protects her but refuses to let her protection him. Neither one will use the word love, but it will be present in every sentence. The journey back to Catholics farm may become strangely quiet. Dogas could sit beside Yaman, still wearing wet clothes, while the clothes ask questions about what happened. Yaman may refuse to describe the most frightening moments because he does not want the family to panic. Their eyes may meet when someone asks how they accepted. Neither will remain the exact second when Doga jumped for after him. That memory belongs only to them, and both may feel that speaking about it will make their emotions impossible to Danny. Hulse's reaction will carry guilt as well as relief. The people who entered the farm claimed that their father's inheritance had been taken by him. They did not attack Doga by accident. They used her to punish Hulse for her an old dispute. Episode 7's official star identifies the new customers as Muzaffar and Samra and explained that they entered the farm while secretly seeking revenge against Hulse. They kidnapped Doga and Yaman, followed them to the yacht before the situation became life-threatening. To focus on the fact that his daughter is safe, but Doga will need more than comfort. She will want answers. Why did Muzaffar and Samra believe their family had been cheated? What inheritance were they discussing? What had Hulse never warned anyone that an old enemy might return? Doga has often allowed her father to manage difficult situations without explanation. The kidnapping changes that relationship. His secret placed her life and Yaman's life in danger, so she can no longer remain the protected daughter who accepts silence. Yaman will also demands the truth. His concern will not be polite. He may stand before Hulse with the danger of a man who almost died because important information was hidden. Hulse might remind him that this is a private family matter, but Yaman will reject that argument. The conflict entered the farm, endangered the worker, and placed Doga on a criminal board. It is no longer private. The past has become a threat to everyone. This confrontation could create a new form of respect between Yaman and Hulse. Hulse is used to people speaking carefully around him because of his wealth and his position. Yaman does not fear him. He will ask direct questions and expect direct answers. Hulse may dislike his manner, but he cannot ignore the fact that Yaman risked his own life to save Doga, the young engineer who once entered Erkali Holding seeking an opportunity, now stand before Hulse as the person his daughter trusted during the greatest danger of her life. The change in their position gives Yaman emotional power, but it also gives him responsibility. He can use the moment to humiliate Hulse or to protect the farm if he chooses only revenge. He will repeat the behavior that hurt him if he chooses truth and justice. He will prove that his success is not based on becoming as cruel as the people who once looked down on him. His strongest response will be to demand honesty without enjoying another person's weakness. Doga's feelings toward her father will also become more complicated. She loves Hulse and she knows that he loves her, yet love does not remove the consequences of secrecy. She may begin wondering how many parts of her family history have been hidden. The farm was presented to her as a business problem and a lesson in responsibility. It may actually be connected to old relationship, broken promises, dispute property, and decisions that affected families outside the Adkali home. For the first time, Doga may see wealth from the viewpoint of someone harmed by it during Yaman's job interview. She did not understand what power looked like from below at the farm. She has slowly learned that business choices are not only members on paper. They can change where people live, how they work, and what they are able to leave to their children. The claim made by Muzaffar and Samra may be false, partly true, or completely true. Whatever the answer, Doga can no longer dismiss it without investigation. Yaman will probably encourage or practical response. He will want documents, witness, and clear facts. Emotional stories alone will not be enough for him. However, his own history should remind him that official records do not always show the complete truth. A person can be legally defeated and still have suffered an injustice. If Yulsi used his business power to gain an advantage years earlier, the paperwork may appear correct while the human story remains painful. This mycentric can deepen the series because it connects the farm present battle with Hulsi's past. Merritt's farm to gain control of Healand may not be first attempt to use ownership as a weapon. Catholics' farm may have been shaped by old deals that younger family members know nothing about. The beautiful fields and peaceful buildings could hide a history of competition, disappointment, and sacrifice. While everyone is focused on the kidnapping, Nesreen continues working quietly. She does not need weapons or a boat to threaten the farm. She uses family weakness, private conversations, and financial pressure. According to the official episode 8 summary, Nesreen's convinces Sofer to consider selling his share and secretly reaches an agreement with Merritt. Yaman discovered the danger and acted to stop the scale, but an unexpected surprise stand in his way. Plan is dangerous because it looks legal. Muzaffar and Samra entered the story as clear enemies once their kidnapping plan is revealed. Nesreen operates from inside the family. She can sit at the same table, express concern, and pretend that she is only protecting Seyfet's interest. By the time others understand real goal, legal paper may already be prepared. This mistake her different kind of opponent for Yaman. Yaman knows how to face open conflict. He can repair broken machine, control a physical fight, and respond quickly when someone is in danger. Secret business agreements are harder. A signature can cause more damage than a punch. If Seyfert freely agrees to sell his shares, Yaman cannot simply order him to stop. He must understand the reason behind the decision and find a better solution. Seyfert is not necessarily a villain. He may feel ignored, powerless, or financially trapped. Family members often speak about shares as though ownership automatically gives a personal control. In reality, Seyfert may own part of the farm while still feeling that no one respects his opinion. Nesreen can use that frustration. She can tell him that selling is the first independent decision he has ever made. Money may also be part of the pressure. A share in the family property has long-term value, but it may not provide immediate cash. Merit could offer Seyfert a large amount that appears capable of solving every personal problem. If Seyfert is tired of waiting for their farm to become profitable, he may believe that selling is the sensible choice. Nesreen can present the agreement as freedom instead of betrayal. Yaman's first reaction may be anger. To him, selling the shares to Merit means giving an enemy access to the farm. He sees the land as a living responsibility. Seyfert may see it as property that he has the legal right to sell. If Yaman attacks him with accusations, Seyfert will become defensive. The conversation will then turn into a battle over respect rather than a discussion about the farm's future. Doga may become the person capable of reaching Seyfert. She understands how it feels when family member treat someone is responsible. He also sent her to the farm because he believed she needed discipline. Although his decision helped her grow, it also made her feel that everyone had already decided she could not be trusted. If Seyfert feels the same way, Doga can speak to him without sounding superior. She may ask what he truly wants. Does he need money, recognition, or a place in the farm management? Does he want to hurt someone, or does he simply want to stop feeling controlled? Finding the answer could give Yaman and Doga a way to prevent the sale without forcing Safed. A fair solution will be stronger than pressure because it removes Merritt's ability to present himself as staff only ally. This is where Doga's business knowledge can become valuable. Earlier, many of her ideas were quick and careless. She focused on attention and profit without understanding the community. The sheer crisis required a more mature use of her skills. She may have to study ownership papers, calculate values, speak with lawyers, or create a financial plans that allows Safed to receive support without losing the farm. Yaman cannot solve this part alone. His pride may resist asking Doga for help, especially after he insisted that they remain professional and distant. Yet, giving her new responsibilities suggests that he is beginning to recognize her ability. The official episode 8 information states that he assigns new duties to her after they return to the farm may become the first to sign that he sees Sarah as a partner rather than a temporary problem. The difference between a punishment and a responsibility is trust. During Doga's first day at the farm, Yaman gave her unpleasant work partly because he wanted to test her and partly because he wanted revenge. New duties after the kidnapping carry another meaning. He has watched her face real danger. He knows she did not abandon him. If he places an important part of the farm under her care, he is admitting through action that his judgment has changed. Doga may misunderstand him at first. She could look at a list of tasks and accuse him of using work to avoid discussing what happened at sea. She would not be completely wrong. Yaman often hide emotion behind duty. Instead of telling Doga that he respects her courage, he may give her an important job. Instead of saying that he wants her near him, he may create professional reason for them to spend time together. Yaman's method can frustrate Doga because she needs clear emotional answers. She has already discovered his connection to the old interview. She knows that his anger was not random. Now she wants to understand whether he sees differently. Each time he becomes softer, he quickly creates another rule. Each time they move closer, he speaks about distance. The sea resorts will make the pattern even more difficult for her to accept. She may directly ask him to return to the farm. Episode 7 begins with Yaman agreeing to return only if he and Doga remain professional and distant. He did not leave because he stopped caring. He left because the truth about his past made their connection too painful. Returning under strict rules allowed him to remain near her without admitting that he could not stay away. Doga will see the weakness inside the condition. A person who feels nothing does not need so many rules. Yaman's demand for distance proves that closeness affects him. She may tease him about this, but the subject is serious. He is trying to control feelings that have already escaped his control. The kidnapping destroys the safety of his professional arrangement. Yaman does not rescue Doga like a distant employee. He follows the kidnappers onto the sea because the thought of waiting is impossible. Doga does not jump after him like a manager concerned about a worker. Their choices are personal. Returning to ordinary farm duties afterward may feel almost dishonest. Still, both need the routine. The farm's daily work gives them space to process what happened. Animals must be fed. Workers need instruction. Crops cannot wait for emotional clarity. The normal rhythm may calm them after the. She jokes that the farm has replaced her friend with a serious businesswoman. Doga tells her not to speak too quickly because the serious woman may disappear after another hour of numbers. Yet she does not stop working. Vera notices a bruise on Doga's arm and asks whether she is truly alright. Doga says that her body will recover. The harder problem is what happened between her and Yaman. Vera accepts a romantic confession, but Doga explained that nothing was said. That is exactly the problem. Yaman nearly died for her, and she nearly died for him. After returning, he gave her office keys and started speaking about bills. Vera smiles and says this may be Yaman's version of a love letter. Doga tries not to laugh, but the idea feels surprisingly accurate. Yaman does not express can throw beautiful Words he repair problems, create safety, and give trust through responsibility. Their conversation become more serious when Doga tell Veera about Hulsi's old business conflict. Veera realizes that the farm may be connected to disputed land. She asks whether Muzaffar and Samra could return. Doga says she does not know. The police may stop them temporarily, but the danger behind their action remain. If the inheritance claim has truth inside it, Hyulsi must find the fair answer. Punishment alone will not end the problem. Veera also feels uncomfortable because the story reminds her of Yaman's interview. She and Doga once judged him without knowing him struggle. They were not criminals, but they acted from the same dangerous belief that powerful people do not need to understand weaker people. Veera admits that she has avoided apologizing because she feels ashamed. Doga says shame is useless when it only makes a person silent. Yaman deserves to hear that they are understanding what they did. Veera asks whether Doga has apologized properly. Doga says she has tried, but most conversation with Yaman become arguments. Veera tells her that an apology should not be used to force forgiveness. Doga must say what he needs to say and allow Yaman to respond in his own time. This advice is simple, but Doga finds it difficult. She is used to solving problems quickly. She wants a clear answer, showing whether Yaman accepts her. Real forgiveness does not follow a business schedule. Before they can continue, Break arrives with news. He saw Nesreen meeting someone outside the farm early that morning. The man carried a leather folder and carried a card connected to one of Mary's business. Nesreen noticed Barak and quickly entered the meeting. Barak did not hear the conversation, but her behavior made him suspicious. Doga immediately understood that the shared smile by moving faster than they expected. She asked Burak not to comfort Nesreen, they need her evidence. Veera is surprised by Doga's calm response. The old Doga would have entered the farmhouse and accused everyone loudly. The new Doga is learning that an enemy who knows they are being watched become more careful. She asked Burak to remember the card's registration number and describe the man. Veera can search public business information while Doga reviews the ownership files. They discovered that the man works for a legal office used by Merit. His name appears on several property transfer documents. This does not prove that Safed shares have been sold, but it confirms that Nasreen is not simply discussing possibilities. Papers are being prepared, time is running out. Doga goes to Yaman with the information. She finds him repairing part of finance with Ivan. Yaman listens while continuing to work. When she finished, she put down his tools and asked whether anyone confirmed Nasrin's. Doga say no. Yaman looks impressed though his heart sit quickly. He expected her to react with anger. She tells him that she can see the surprise on his face. He decides it. She says he should begin accepting that she is capable of learning. Yaman asks to see the evidence. Doga gives him the information about the legal office and explains that a share transfer may require approval from other family owners depending on the farm's original agreement. She has not yet found the full shareholder some record are missing from the office. Yaman immediately suspects Hulsi, but Doga said that should not excuse him without asking. Again, she chooses careful investigation over emotion. They decide to speak with Safet privately. Yaman wants Doga to lead the conversation. Became Safet may feel threatened by him. This request surprises her more than the office keys. Yaman is not only trusting her with information, he is accepting that she may handle a person better than he can. Doga agrees, but she asks him to remain nearby. If Merit or Nestle interrupts, she may need support. Their plan is simple, but it shows a new balance between them. Safet is sitting near the old greenhouse when Doga approaches. He looks nervous before she weighs anything, confirming that he is hiding something. Doga does not excuse him. She sits beside him and asks whether he is happy at the farm. The question confuses him. He expected danger about the shares. He answered that happiness is not the issue. The farm belongs to everyone, but certain people act as though it belongs only to Yaman and Hulsi. Doga understands his frustration. Savet says he has attached to the meetings where do no one seriously considered his ideas when repairs or needed. Hulsi pays. When workers have problems, they go to Yaman. When business plans are discussed, Doga knew receives responsibility. Safet owns share, yet he feels unnecessary. Merit is the first person who treated his ownership as valuable. He offered money and promised to give him a role in the future project. Doga asked what kind of project. Safet says Merit want to build a modern agriculture and tourism center. There would be new houses, restaurant, entertainment areas, and private beach access. Merit claimed the project would create jobs and make every shoulder wealthy. Safer does not understand why the family should protect a struggling farm when the land could produce much greater profit. Doga sees a painful reflection of her earlier ideas. She once believed that private beach access and quick tourism could solve financial problems. She understands why Merit's officers sound attractive. It promises change without requiring years of slow work. However, she now knows the hidden cost. The local community could lose access to the coast. Workers might receive temporary construction job and later be replaced. The farm's identity would disappear under building designed for wealthy visitors. She does not call Safed selfish. Instead, she admits she once taught in the same way. She explained what she learned when the community rejected her beach project. Land is not empty simply because a company can buy it. People may use it, remember it, and depend on it even when their names and written ownership papers. Profit matters, but it cannot be the only measure of value. Safet asked whether Doga would reject the project if it made her rich. She answers that she is already rich. The more important question is whether the project would make her poor. Money that comes from destroying the place where she finally returned responsibility would feel like another failure. She does not expect Safet to agree immediately, but she asks him not to sign anything until he sees a complete plan for saving the farm. Savet says Nesrine told him that the sale must happen quickly. Merit's offer will disappear if he waits. Doga points out that this person pressure should make him suspicious. After buyer does not need to prevent a seller from receiving advice. She asks whether Sufert his own lawyer. He has the legal office prepared everything for him. Doga explained that Merit's lawyer protects Merit's not staff. Stealing without independent advice could leave him with less money and no control. Yaman listens from a short distance. He is surprised by Doga's patience. She does not know about the down to Safet. She uses her own means to explain the danger. Her approach succeeds where Yaman's anger would have failed. Safet finally agrees to delay the signing days, but he refuses to cancel the deal completely. He wants to see whether Doga and Yaman can offer real future than emotional purposes. When what Safet believes, Yaman tells Doga that she handled the conversation well. The praise is direct and unexpected. Doga turns toward him as if she did not hear correctly. She asks him to repeat it. Yaman immediately regrets speaking. He says that one successful conversation does not make her perfect. Doga smiles and tells him that she will remember the first sentence and ignore the second. The brief moment of humor hides how deeply his respect affects her. They now have only 2 days to create a plan. Doga returns to the financial records while Yaman speaks to workers about production. They discover that the farm has valuable product but sells them through comprises that take most of the profit. The farmers perform the hardest work while outside distributors control the customer. If they can sell more product directly, income could ignore increase without changing the land. Veera suggests creating a simple online ordering system. Budak says he can organize delivers to nearby towns, even believes the farm can host small educational visit for families at school without blocking public areas. Perihan knows local women who make traditional food that could be sold with the farm product. Even Safet has a useful idea about repairing an seed building and turning it into a small shop. For the first time, everyone's abilities began moving in the same direction. The plan is not a grand luxury project, it is built from the farmhouse real strength. It will not make this rich immediately, but it can reduce dependence on Hulse's money. More importantly, it gives each person a role. Safet no longer has to feel like an owner whose only value is his signature. Dogas organizes the ideas into business proposal. Yaman checks whether the production numbers are realistic. They disagree over how quickly the shop can open. Doga wants to begin within weeks. Yaman believes repair and permission will take longer. Earlier, this disagreement would have become a personal battle. Now they compare information and find a middle path. They decide to begin direct outline sales quickly while preparing the physical shop more carefully. Working together reveals how much they have changed. Toga no longer treats Yaman's quotation as an attack on her intelligence. Yaman no longer treats her ambition as proof that she is careless. He still questions her numbers and she still challenges his slow methods, but the argument improves the plan instead of damaging their relationship. Late the night, they remain alone in the office. Everyone else he has gone to sleep. Dogan needs numbers are lowered while Yaman calculate expected production. Traders make their defense weaker when Doga reaches for a file. Her hand touches his, neither moves immediately. The room becomes silent. The memory of the sea returns to both of them, but this moment is different. There is nothing danger forcing them together. They are choosing to remain close. Yaman slowly moves his hands away and asks Doga to continue reading. She watches him for a moment and then closes the file. She says they cannot spend the entire night discussing vegetables and delivery cost while pretending that nothing happened between them. Yaman says the plan is more urgent. Doga answers that urgency is his favorite entering place. When one problem ends, he will find another. There will always be work, danger, or finally conflict. If they wait for a perfect peaceful moment, they will never spend honestly. Yaman stands and walks toward the window. He admits that seeing her jump into the sea made him angry. Doga asks why. He says because he understood that he could not control what happened to her. He went after her, believing that he could bring her home safely. When she entered the water, he realized that his choices could also destroy her. Protecting someone is easier when that person remains at a distance. Doga refuses to remain distant. She tells him that protection cannot work in only one direction. He cannot risk himself and then demand that everyone else behave safely. Yaman says he has spent years taking care of himself. Doga answers that he is not alone anymore. The words remain between them. She did not plan to say them, but she does not take them back. Yaman asks whether she truly understands what she is offering. Being close to him will not erase the interview, the farm conflict, or their different families. He does not trust easily. He becomes angry. He does not know how to speak safely when he is afraid. Doga says she already knows all of this. He has shown her his worst behavior many times. She is still standing there. She also admits her own weakness. She becomes impatient. She sometimes acts before thinking. She has spent years escaping work. When it became difficult, she can hurt people with careless words. Yaman knows these things too. They are not choosing between perfect version of one another. They are deciding whether the real version can learn to trust. Yaman turns to face her. He says trust cannot be created in one night. Doga agrees. She points toward the business plan and says that neither can afford. Both require daily work. Some days will produce nothing visible, other days will reveal the result of months of effort. They do not need to make a grand promise tonight. They only need to stop lying about what they feel. Before Yaman can answer, the office should door opens. Hulsi enters holding an old folder.